Amazing discoveries at the tomb of Jesus. Jesus' tomb is opened, and what they found shocked the world. In the heart of Jerusalem, a city full of history and enigmas, lies one of the most sacred places, the tomb of Jesus. But what would you think if I told you that the archaeological discoveries inside have left the world astonished? To understand the magnitude of this discovery, we must go back more than 2,000 years, to a time when Jerusalem was a hive of pilgrims and merchants. There, in a vibrant civilization, an event took place that would change history: the crucifixion and subsequent burial of Jesus of Nazareth. For centuries, his tomb has symbolized faith, hope, and mystery. Guarded by the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, few have accessed its interior. However, recently a select group of archaeologists were authorized to open it, and what they found defies all logic. Let's go back to that Jerusalem, then a cultural and religious melting pot. A dynamic city under Roman rule, it was a time of hope and rebellion, of faith and conflict. Into this setting emerged Jesus of Nazareth, a man whose life and teachings would mark history. According to the biblical accounts, Jesus was arrested, tried, and crucified under the authority of Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor in Judea. First of all, we thank everyone who supports us to continue sharing these exciting stories and biblical tales. I welcome you to this channel, where together we will delve deeper into the Word of the Lord. Before we begin, I invite you to like this video so that YouTube can recommend it to more people so they can learn more about the sacred Word. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. It's free, and activate the bell so you don't miss the next content. Let's get started. Crucifixion, a brutal method of execution reserved for the worst criminals, was intended not only to cause a slow, painful death, but also to serve as a public warning. However, Jesus' story does not end at the cross. His followers, devastated by his death, claimed his body and placed it in a new, rock-cut tomb belonging to Joseph of Arimathea, a respected member of the Sanhedrin. However, it is what happened after his burial that has captured the imagination of millions for centuries. 3 days later, Jesus is said to have risen from the dead, an event commemorated annually at Easter and which forms the foundation of the Christian faith. As for the opening of the tomb, the team began to remove the heavy stone slab that had remained motionless for centuries. What secrets did this ancient tomb hold? The archaeologists, with precision and care, prepared for this historic moment. They used specialized tools to move the slab, a process where every action was calculated and every sound was amplified in the expectant silence of the place. The air was filled with tension and reverence. Everyone knew they were about to reveal a secret that had been hidden for over 2,000 years. Hearts were pounding and hands were shaking with excitement and responsibility. It was a moment filled with history, faith, and intense curiosity. Finally, the slab slid away, and the entrance to the tomb was exposed. The archaeologists looked at each other, aware of the magnitude of what they were about to discover. With flashlights in hand, they took their first steps inside, holding their breath, knowing that the entire world was waiting for their discovery. What they found left everyone speechless. Not only did it defy human understanding, but it could change our history. When the scene unfolded before them, it was something no one could have imagined. The air inside the tomb was thick with the weight of centuries, but what was revealed was a collection of incredibly well-preserved relics and artifacts. In the center of the tomb, on a limestone rock, lay a collection of objects that seemed to come straight from the biblical stories. There were tools and utensils possibly used in burial rituals. But most astonishing were the Aramaic inscriptions, meticulously etched into the walls, which seemed to tell a story forgotten by time. Among the finds, archaeologists found a small, sealed wooden box decorated with ancient symbols. Opening it with extreme care, they discovered a set of immaculately preserved scrolls. Although initially illegible due to their age, the writings were wonderfully preserved and contained texts that could rewrite entire chapters of religious history. In addition, they found pottery fragments with inscriptions mentioning names and events that matched the gospel accounts. These findings not only offer a more detailed insight into burial practices of the time, but could also provide tangible evidence of events that have been the subject of faith and debate for centuries. Each object discovered in the tomb is being closely analyzed by experts. With the help of advanced technology, researchers are examining the materials and deciphering the texts. This discovery not only sheds light on the past, but also raises new questions about history and religion. Preliminary results already suggest that this is one of the most momentous archaeological finds in history. Among the relics found are astonishing details, ancient inscriptions and artifacts that seem anachronistic for their time. Each piece and detail adds a new layer of mystery and wonder. One of the most surprising objects was a set of Roman coins, neatly lined up in a corner of the tomb. Although the inscriptions on the coins are worn away by time, they appear to coincide with the period of Jesus' crucifixion. This suggests that they could have been left there by early followers as an act of veneration or superstition. Fragments of cloth were also found which, despite their age, still retain traces of their original colors. These pieces, carefully wrapped and preserved, could have been part of the shroud that covered Jesus' body. The texture and weave of these cloths are currently undergoing exhaustive analysis to determine their provenance and verify their authenticity. One of the most intriguing remains was a ceramic cup with inscriptions in ancient Hebrew. Similar to those used in Jewish Passover rituals, this cup could have been used at Jesus' Last Supper with his disciples. Although fragmentary, the inscriptions are being closely studied to decipher their full meaning. Another discovery that left everyone speechless was a piece of wood that could be part of the cross on which Jesus was crucified. This fragment, although small, is being analyzed with carbon dating techniques to confirm its age and authenticity. If confirmed, this piece would be one of the most significant testimonies of the crucifixion. Each of these remains not only sheds light on the historical and cultural context of Jesus' time, but also raises new questions about the connection between history and religion. The preservation and analysis of these artifacts could offer an invaluable window into one of humanity's most important periods. The importance of these remains is enormous, both for historians and for millions of believers around the world. This discovery could mean much more than anticipated. Could these remains confirm biblical accounts that have been debated for some 20 centuries? Or reveal an even more complex and profound truth? For historians, these relics represent a unique opportunity to better understand life in the time of Jesus. The objects found offer valuable clues about the burial practices of the time, the materials used, and the superstitious, cultural, and religious beliefs of the time. Each one represents a key piece of the puzzle that could help us build a more complete picture of that historical era. For believers, the impact is even deeper. The inscriptions and symbols found in the tomb could be tangible evidence of the apostles' stories, strengthening the faith of millions of people around the world. Imagine finding an inscription that confirms the events described in the Gospels, or a relic that once belonged to Jesus or one of his closest disciples. Not only would this reinforce existing beliefs, but it could also attract new believers. However, not all experts agree on the interpretation of these discoveries. Some insist that we should be cautious and avoid jumping to definitive conclusions. The magnitude of this find also raises ethical and theological questions, as well as reflections on how we interpret these objects in the context of modern faith. What significance do they really have for our current understanding? Archaeologists and theologians will debate this for years, but what is indisputable is that this discovery has inaugurated a new era of reflection. Never before have we been so close to connecting our present with the sacred events of the past. Don't forget to share this content, like it, subscribe, and leave your comments to continue being erudite with these stories that transform lives. Thank you.